got a new mug. We went to the Natural History Museum in London and I just had to pick up a dinosaur mug, so I'm going to show you. It's just got all the different little dinosaurs on it. Hello and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name is Harriet. Today I'm going to share the books that I read in the month of May. Some of them I don't have with me anymore, I passed them on to new people, and others are ebooks. But in total I read 5 books, which is alright. One of them was huge, so I'm definitely not going to beat myself up about it. Some months I just don't read as much as what I would like to, but it was a really good reading month, so I'm excited to share what I got through. So we will start with the first book that I read this month, and that is Kikis Delivery Service by Aiko Kodono. I have filmed a review for this. This is going to be a separate review, but basically we're following a young witch called Kiki, and when she comes of age, which is 13, she has to go off and live by herself for a year and live sustainably and, you know, look after herself. And she gets to take her black cat Gigi with her, and it's just following her story really. But I loved it. I thought it was really whimsical and fun. Honestly, for me, this was a 5-star read. I just thought it was great, and I do think it's one of those books that I can just pick up and feel really comforted and cozy. So yeah, really impressed with this one. I read it in pretty much one sitting, and I'm excited to talk a little bit more in depth about this one in my upcoming review. So keep an eye out for that. And it should be up in maybe like a week and a half, but you'll definitely see it on my channel soon. And then I started My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I've seen this book everywhere, and I'm sure you probably have as well. It is not a book to take lightheartedly, so I have passed this on to someone else that desperately wanted to read it, as opposed to giving it away to a book swap or giving it to someone and not letting them know in advance the dark sides of this book. So basically we are following a young girl called Vanessa, and it's set in 2 stages of her life. So when she was younger and being abused by her teacher, Jacob Strain, and then in her kind of adult years, when it comes out that more people have had similar experiences with the same teacher, and they are speaking out about it, but Vanessa doesn't see her previous relationship with the teacher as abusive. She just sees it as them being in love. And it's basically her dealing with what's going on and revisiting what happened to her. It was a really difficult read. Yeah, just so hard to wrap my head around, because it's written from the point of view of someone that sees what happened in a positive light. But it was really educational. Again, I'm going to have a separate review on this, so you can watch that when it's up. It should be up within a week or so. Yeah, I really wanted to talk about it. But for me personally, it was a 4-star read. It wasn't the most incredible book I've ever read. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourites, but it definitely educated me into the different sides of abuse and how people can deal with it and might deal with it, and then that helps me to implement that into my daily life and try and see things from all perspectives when I'm trying to help people, when I'm talking to people. Yeah, it's extremely dark. Obviously there are a lot of content warnings, so please look those up before you pick up this book. But I did enjoy reading it, for lack of a better word. And then I finally finished George R.R. Martin's A Clash of Kings. This is the second book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. I have now just uploaded a review of the first one in the series, and I'm going to be shortly uploading a proper review for this one as well. This book is huge. Basically we're just following some of the same characters from the first book. If you have never heard of A Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire, it's kind of like a medieval fantasy series. There's dragons in there, there's all sorts of political intrigue, kings, there are gods, there are myths, legends. It's just such an expansive series, and I loved the second book in it. 5-star read, definitely. I'm excited to talk about this again a little bit more in depth. You'll find the video on my channel very soon if it's not up already. But yeah, just absolutely excellent. It's not very often that I will read a book that is this thick and can safely say that I enjoyed the whole thing. And none of this felt like filler either, so everything that happened felt very essential to the story and to the characters. So yeah, just fantastic. Then I read Unplugged by JB Taylor. I received an email from the author asking if I would be able to review the book, but instead what I did is I found it on Kindle Unlimited because I still have that at the moment, so I read it for free through that, and then I could make sure that I was writing like a completely honest and truthful review because I think that's really important. I obviously know that I'm being honest. Even if I get sent a book, I will give an honest review, but I wanted to make sure that all of the people that watch my videos and read my reviews can kind of see that. So I thought this was the easiest way to do that, was to get it through Kindle Unlimited. Now Unplugged gives me kind of like Matrix, Blade Runner vibes. It's very futuristic, it's set in a dystopian reality, and essentially the main character that we are following, Zendaya, believes she has kind of awakened to the fact that she is in a machine. She's part of a simulation and there are glitches, and basically trying to find a way out without the machines finding out that she knows. I don't want to say too much because there's a lot going on in this book and I don't want to ruin it. Personally for me, I enjoyed the fact that there was a strong female lead. I thought that was really important, and I found Zendaya as a main character really interesting. And I also really enjoyed the concept of the book. I thought that the ideas in there were really amazing, but personally for me, I just couldn't connect to it, which is such a shame because I really thought I was going to enjoy it. But I saw the ideas that were there and I can appreciate them. So it wasn't a bad book, it wasn't the best book, therefore I would give it 3 stars. So yeah, Unplugged got 3 stars from me. I definitely recommend reading it if you want something dystopian, sciencey, but something that's really easy to follow and easy to read with lots of twists and turns as well. And then the final book that I finished in the month of May was The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Brissetti. I literally just finished this a day ago. So I finished it on the train back from London after we went to the museum to see all the dinosaurs there. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really interesting. It's not very often that I can get to the end of a non-fiction book, particularly one that's almost 400 pages long. So the fact that I could do that is really amazing. Now I have a couple of things to say about this book. We'll start with the kind of downsides first, and that would be that I personally found it quite dry in places. Brissetti likes to kind of set the scene quite a lot, and that does include the people he's talking about, so the paleontologists and scientists that are mentioned throughout the book. He may discuss like where they go when they have a chat and talk about the room they're in, and maybe talk about other people's personalities and their histories, not necessarily to do with paleontology or science or anything like that. So if you don't want that, there is a little bit of filler going on throughout the book in between the facts, but I think I understand why it's in there. It did help to break up all of the information that is getting thrown at us about the dinosaurs and about the different periods of time before we existed. I learned an awful lot. I learned a lot about the different time periods, so the Triassic, Jurassic and the Cretaceous periods, and essentially which dinosaurs were about then and how that affects the different animals that we have today. So I learned a lot through this book and I just found it very educational and also really fun. So I gave it a 4-star review. Definitely if you want to learn a little bit more about dinosaurs, but maybe you don't want to just read like straight up facts, bullet pointed down, I do think that you should check this book out and that you would enjoy it. So they are all the books that I've read this month, but I have also started some, so I'll tell you about those now. I've literally just started like 1 chapter in to One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is one of those books that I found for 99p on the Kindle, so I picked it up. I have read Daisy Jones and the Six, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid so far, and all of those books were really fantastic. I really love Reid's writing, so I thought I'd give this a little try. It sounds really interesting. Essentially, it seems like we are following our main character and her first true love that she fell in love with, she believes to be dead. And basically we are following them years later when they've moved on and they've got a new fiance. And then it turns out that that person they thought was dead is back, and they've been trying to get back to them for years. So it sounds like it's going to be kind of like a mystery thriller mixed in with lots of romance. So I don't know too much about it, but I do think it's going to be really interesting. And like I say, I've only read the first chapter, but I read it really quickly. So I think I'm going to enjoy that one. And the other book that I've just started is The Look of a King by Tom Dumbrell. I won this in a giveaway and it is signed and everything. I put it in my birthday haul because I got it around my birthday. But I am 78 pages into this and I am really, really enjoying this. It's kind of Game of Thronesy and really medieval, and we are following two main characters. So we are following a prince, so Prince Augustus, and we are also following Cyrus, who is a storyteller in a small village, and they are two very different characters with really strong personalities, and Tom's done a fantastic job at creating these characters and making them feel very authentic and genuine. And the story so far is just really gripping. There's treachery and violence and political intrigue. I just want to read this all the time. I just haven't had the chance because I had to finish those other books. But I'm going to read some of it today and I'm really excited about that. So I think I'll be finishing this really soon. And those are the books that I read in the month of May. Let me know down below if you've read any of these or if they are on your TBR. If you have read them, let me know what you thought about them. And also let me know what's on your TBR for the upcoming month. But that is it from me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and I will see you in my next video. Bye!